guys, well today I'm coming through a few mountain roads. It's not intense mountain roads, but I'm on my way down the Boso Peninsula, down to Tateyama. And today I want to talk about a newbie mistake that I made as far as maintenance goes. And I recently changed first of all, I want to talk about why I do the maintenance on my bike. I really love doing the maintenance on my bike. I enjoy it almost as much as I like riding. Sometimes, of course, it gets to be a bit tedious, I guess, and I'd really, most days I'd really rather just be out on the road, but I also do enjoy working on my bike because I get to know the bike, I get to learn about how the engine works and all that sort of stuff. And also, one of the things I want to do in the future is to build my own custom bike and be able to take old bikes and restore them and fix them up and modify them and customize them. I want to, build my own cafe racers and all that sort of stuff in the future. Anyway, so that's why I do most of the maintenance as much as possible. Even if it's something new, I'll look it up in the user manual and I'll try to get the tools that I need, and it also helps to save money. Here in Japan, if you put your bike in the shop and have the shop do everything for you, it will cost a bit more than some other countries. Like, for example, I think I was on a forum with a motovlogger, I think he was from Indonesia, and he was saying, hey, I don't do any of the maintenance on my bike. I could do some of it on my own, but I don't do it because labor here is so cheap, and they'll do it so much faster and cheaper and quicker for you. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Here in Japan, like for example, I recently did the front fork suspension overhaul. I changed the oil seals and the oil. You can see the video on I'll include a link here. And also I changed the stem bearings, and I think if I had put that in the shop for both of those, it would have cost about 45,000 yen, about $450 to do both of that, which is not too much, but yeah, it is, it adds up. And I was able to do it. I had to buy about 10,000 yen worth of tools, about $100. Cost about $100. I got a torque wrench, I got a hook wrench, and I got bearing lace race remover, and I can't remember a few other things. And then also the parts, the oil, the suspension oil, and the bearings, and different things that I needed for the two maintenance. That came to about $100 as well, about 10,000 yen. But I was able to save about $250, about 20,000 yen by doing it myself. And it was the first time for me to do it, so it did take some time, and it wasn't all easy. I had some frustrating times. At one point I almost brought the bracket, the triple tree, I don't know, the stem bracket. I brought it to the shop and I just asked the guy, could you just do this one thing for me, because it's just such a pain. And he was like, oh, and he was just about to do it the exact same way what I was doing. I just sort of needed to persevere and just just do it. And I figured out a way to do it smoothly after that. And so now I have that knowledge. I have that experience that I know I can, okay, if my friend needs his stem bearings done, or he needs help with his front forks and the overhauling the front forks, changing the oil and all that, I have the knowledge and I have the experience to do it. So if that's why I like doing the maintenance myself. Now, it's not for everybody. Some people just would rather ride. They would really rather just put the bike in the shop and have other people do it. And then I also, I've seen some other motovloggers, they'll put their bike in the shop, have it while they're having it serviced, they'll get they'll be able to borrow a bike for free, and they'll be able to do like a new video riding a different bike. And I think that's really cool too. I might do that sometime. Wow, really smells like chicken here. I bet there's a chicken farm. I bet these are chicken farms right here. And it's a sign that we're in, I don't know, man. Sounds like chicken shit. Ah, there you go. Yep, that was it. Anyways, so that's why I do my maintenance, because I want to learn and I want to make bikes in the future. But I want to tell you about a mistake. So the newbie mistake that I made, and this has to do with my brakes. Now my rear brake had been kind of squealing for a little while. It's been kind of making a slight sound, and when I checked the brakes, when I changed the oil, I had recently changed the brake fluid, the brake oil, and not too long ago, and I had inspected the brake pads. Well, is this guy gonna let me go? Need a clear line of sight. Yeah. Thank you. So I had inspected the brakes, and it still had some meat on them, but, you know, it was still usable. And I thought, okay, the squealing could be, it's not that they're totally worn. It could be because the grease on the back of the pads had completely, it could be because I needed to add more grease to the back of the pad. So I tried that, and it fixed it for a while, you know. Ooh. But I kept my eye on the brake pads, but I had to see, but the squealing sort of came back, and so I just figured, oh, okay, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that I don't know, maybe the disc is slightly warped or something like that. Oh no, roadkill. Anyway, so I just figured, oh, it's not something that I can fix super easily. I'll just leave it. And it kept on squealing. And I had kept my eye, I kept on checking the pad. But the problem was, here's a mistake that I made. I kept only checking the outer pad. The outer pad still had meat on it, and it was still fine. But the inner pad had completely worn through. And one time coming down from a mountain, it started feeling really weird. I mean, and it started making a different kind of sound too. And then after that, I checked it, and I realized that the inner pad had completely worn off. I'll show the pictures here. And it was grinding the metal up against the disc, and you can I'll show a bit of the disc, but the disc is obviously actually worn down on the inside a bit. And so I felt so sorry for my bike. I felt sorry for my disc too, and I felt really stupid for making that mistake and not really checking both pads. So anyways, that's something, you know, a newbie mistake that I made as far as inspecting my bike goes and keeping an eye on it. And I just wanted to share that with you so that you don't make the same mistake. And the thing is, see, I had just put my bike in to get its tire done, to put the front tire on actually, and also the previous time they mentioned different things that I should check, kind of maintain. They said I should do the stem bearings for sure, and I told them I was going to do that. And the previous time too, they had mentioned things about the chain, when I needed to change it and all that sort of stuff. So I was expecting they give you a sheet of paper and say, oh, we've done a basic check, you know. And but you can't rely on the bike shop to tell you all of these things. I realized that, you know, it would be nice if they were a bit more thorough, and they would tell you, do a thorough check. But, you know, at some of these big bike shops, they might just kind of, you know, overlook some of these things and not do check as well as they should. So it's good to keep an eye on the bike yourself, and to really check the different things that need checking, like check your brakes, check your tires, check the chain, and all of these things, and not just rely on, oh wow, it feels so good to be out of the city. Anyways, not just rely on the bike shop to tell you when you need to do something or when you need to service something. Anyways, I mean, not all bike shops are the same. I know there's some really good bike shops out there, and there's some really good mechanics. Especially if you develop a good relationship with them and you're good friends with them, they'll do a good job. But I just wanted to share that with you. Don't make the mistake that I made. Check your brakes, check the pads on both sides. And I would like to suggest, like, if you are, you know, if you can, you should learn some of the maintenance yourself. You should try to learn some of these things yourself. If you're interested in how to do some of these things, I'm learning as I go, and I'm making maintenance videos. I'm trying to do them in English and Japanese. And I hope that it's helped to someone out there who's also trying to learn how to do some of these things themselves. So guys, take care of your bike, ride safe, shiny side up, have a good day.